FunPlus Phoenix are looking to silence the haters and stun the world with their own style of League of Legends. They are pushing onto the Nexus. The favorites of G2 in Paris did not stand a chance, and FunPlus, they've taken down the Nexus. They turn their attention to Wonder. Tian goes down. Perks kills Kimgoon. The Nexus is being focused. It's going down, and FunPlus Phoenix are your world champions.
Not a lot of people thought that FunPlus Phoenix could win Worlds.
Raptors, no! You can't die to the Raptors in the grand final!
They were misfits. They played a weird style. They were unconventional, coin-flippy, dark horses at best.
FPX, does that land somehow? Arctic Assault launch onto Loken.
In every match, against every opponent, they were doubted. The Cynics always went back to their weird offbeat style and their midlaner, who refused to play by the rules. Analysts predicted their defeat at every turn.
We got 4 G2. All right, explain yourselves. Why so much confidence?
I mean, I believe that G2 is the better version of FPX.
But with every victory, FPX proved their style could win. That even if they looked like 5 unlikely champions individually, together, they were unbeatable.
How does Lucian win late game? FPX have done it! This game is bonkers!
Unlike the best team from pretty much every other major region, FPX aren't a super team. They joined the LPL in 2018, and their debut season wasn't anything special.
And with a 3-1 victory, they close it out, taking the series and advancing to quarters.
There was still fight in FPX, but JDG finished strongly.
But they headed into 2019 with a new roster, featuring Tian in the jungle and an unusual mid laner, Doinb. But 2019 was Doinb's last shot at a title. After failing to make Worlds again in 2018, he was ready to call it quits.
是因为我去年本来是想休息嘛，因为很多人现在都知道，是因为我的身体也不是那么好，然后颈椎有问题啊什么的。
Doinb, then a young Korean player, moved to China in 2015 and quickly picked up a following thanks to his weird off-meta picks.
在他加入 LPL 的第一个赛季开始，他就在中路给我们展现出像中单泰坦这样的一个黑科技的英雄，以及他之前的一些黑科技。那随着他周围的队友慢慢的凑成了这一整块拼图之后，他的打法就更多的倾向于大家现在所看到的样子。
But Doinb was more than just quirky flash. He had the skills to back up the weirdness. He made finals in his first season as a pro, proving that his playstyle was more than just gimmicks. It was effective.
Depth charges down, it's gonna land off the con. Swift's gonna dive in for the kill. Insect supercharge takes the next one there, and Insect just gonna keep rolling out damage here, but Doinb doing enough. The CC train is massive, and they're just gonna dive in. Huey's gonna die as well. Doinb will go in for the trade, but Zero couldn't make it in time.
是2017年常规赛 MVP，2018年常规赛 MVP 第2名，2019年常规赛 MVP 兄弟。
那有什么用呢？季军中单，季军中单。
But for all of Doinb's accolades, he still had an empty trophy case. Sure, he won MVP multiple times, but he'd never won a finals. He'd never attended Worlds. His last attempt to make Worlds ended with a 3-1 loss to EDG in the 2018 regional qualifier.
This team has to be respected. Edward Gaming, always and forever, one of the best of the LPL!
And after trying and failing so many times, Doinb was ready to take a break from pro play.
FX 找过我嘛，然后 FX 找我的时候，他们也说了，就是因为我知道 FX 的队员是学嘛，然后转回去的时候我看了一下，其实 FX 的选手就是我来的话，他们也可以打好成绩的，我当时是这么想的。
But there was one person who believed in Doinb, one person who told him to just give it one more shot, for one more year. His wife, Umi.
不是，别，我等一下，不是我明天去理发店剪头发。不是。
Whenever Doinb is playing, she's there, leading the fans to cheer for him and his team.
By the smallest amount, even though there are LGD chants at the venue as well. You can hear Doinb's wife, and you can hear the passion behind FPX.
Yep, chant leader. Has been since day one.
Through the good and the bad, Umi supported Doinb's endeavors as a pro player, and convincing him to stick around for one more year ended up being the greatest advice he'd received in all 4 years of his career.
Looking back at it right now, I really want to thank you for all your company. Before this, I was contemplating retirement, and it was you who told me to believe in myself and give it one more year.
Doinb was the star that FPX needed because of his weird, quirky playstyle. With Doinb in the mid lane, the team went from middle of the pack to third. He was even named League MVP in the spring.
Go, broken wings again. One, we finally get it. Wind slash, minion! Woo! Down you go, champion! How does dirt taste?
But people expected Doinb to be solid on FPX. What they didn't expect was the rise of their new jungler, Tian. Before joining FPX, he was the substitute jungler on the middling Suning Gaming. But after joining the team, he went from a reserve to China's best jungler.
Ning is at half health. Tian, the dragon flag again. The flag is giving attack speed after the smite, the flash forward. Tian, there's a shield there, but he gets it anyway. Jungle combat comes to a close.
Tian being able to pick up that kill is huge.
And Tian isn't just individually talented, he also perfectly complements Doinb's bizarre playstyle.
So hard to play against this Pantheon. The man drop coming in once again. Tarzan able to get out of the way, but Doinb so far forward. The cask is good, and that is 2 real easy kills, and they're both on the Pantheon.
FPX finished first in both the spring and summer regular season, but they fumbled in the spring playoffs. Summer, though, was another story entirely.
They send the ulti while Doinb keeps them busy. In the unified composition, Junior comes in with the flank. They pull him back. They turn back around. FPX have the health bars to play around with. Junior gets ignited around. Givyun over the wall. Onto Iboy. Cully comes out. This from below. Scout is jumping left to right center. Onto Doinb. He presses W while LWX over the wall. The Lucian wins. How does Lucian win late game? FPX have done it. This game is bonkers. Doinb flashes forward on the caster. The shield not enough to save the day. It's 3 versus 1. Xiao feels the brunt of it himself. FPX, you thought they were going to slow down. Even Uzi coming up, getting the trade-off won't be good enough. The flash over the wall from Xiao. Disengage for Uzi. He needs the help from Ming. The flash over from LWX. AD carry versus AD carry.
After all that time fumbling at the finish line, Doinb was finally heading to Worlds, thanks in no small part to guys like Tian and Crisp. FPX weren't really well known outside of China, but they were respected as the top seed from a major region, at least until they loaded onto the Rift for their first group stage match.
The biggest upset of the day, you have to believe. J-Team pushing it right down mid. No one can stop them.
J-Team are just going to take the game against FunPlus here. A huge tournament favorite coming in. It was supposed to be the easy group for them, but J-Team are going to beat them.
What an incredible result. J-Team takes down FunPlus Phoenix.
FPX had an underwhelming start to Worlds. Not only did they lose their first game, they almost lost their second too. They were only saved by a miracle play from Tian.
Looking to try and get in there. We've seen this before. There was Tian early into this pick.
Oh!
Somehow the burst didn't work out, and now the dive bomb comes in. The shotgun into the backline, and there goes LWX.
FPX eventually topped their group, but it wasn't pretty. They needed Doinb to carry.
Doinb's coming.
Doinb on the side. Get it.
Oh!
That's going to be a 3-man knockup. It's everything you want, an unstoppable force, a perfect ability for a team this dominant.
As you can imagine, after a group stage that sloppy, some analysts began to doubt FPX.
FunPlus, I still think it should be disappointing. Yes, they're going to be happy that they got first seed, but that feels more like relief than happiness because a lot of people that I've talked to, the casters and analysts coming into this event, peg this as the worst group in World's history.
Heading into quarterfinals, some analysts were putting their money on Fnatic, not FPX. And given how rocky their group stage performance was, it was hard not to feel like their bets were right.
FPX versus Fnatic.
Woo!
This one for me is actually maybe the easiest one to call.
I mean, I think it's gonna be Fnatic.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the European crowd was against FPX from day one. But amidst the horde of haters, there was Umi, waving the FPX flag for her husband to see.
All right, teleport's coming in. That's the knockup landing onto Reckless. He decides to turn back to the tower, but this is an easy kill. Crisp is the one that gets the credit. Hellesang's low on mana. The turret aggro has been swapped. Tian goes low, survives by 80 HP. Now the tower turns to LWX. It's a trade 1-for-1, but 3 members stand. A gigantic minion wave and the turret plates as well. Cyclist will chase forward with the killer instinct and continue to
slow
chase.
down.
Can't get in range. That boomerang play does so much. The re-engage. Tian and FPX snipe Reckless under the tower. They get the top tower. They extend the gold lead. And this game is already feeling over. There are super minions on the steps of Fnatic's base. Death from below comes out. Doinb forced to flash, or at least moving away with the flash. And Hylissang's already dead. The inhibitor falls. There goes Broxah trying to get some damage. Gimgu's in trouble. Buys some time with Hexic Ultimatum. That's a dead Nemesis. Dead Webbo. It's going to be a dead Fnatic.
FPX earned their spot in the semifinals, where they were going to face off against Invictus Gaming, the defending world champions. IG were the only team to take a match off of FPX in summer, but at Worlds, FPX were out for blood.
Here's the support from Doinb, as well as Gimgu. The good magic! Supreme display of talent allows for a triple kill for Doinb. It's going to be the first to fall here. No, it's actually wrong. 1, 2, 3. Invictus just get dumpstered around the river.
How can you keep doing this? He snaps his fingers and half the LPL teams left at Worlds disappear.
FPX's dominant wins over Fnatic and IG washed away their group stage woes. They were even building up a Western fanbase, thanks both to their performance and Doinb's antics. But some experts weren't sold on FPX, or Doinb's unorthodox playstyle.
Is Doinb better than Faker? No. I think Doinb is probably, in my opinion, he's one of the worst meets at the tournaments.
You can literally open up ProView, you can go through all of Doinb's games, you can literally pinpoint how poorly he's actually playing the lane, poor auto attacks, poor positioning.
But at this point, FPX only had one way to win over their critics: winning their next match and lifting the Summoners Cup. FPX's final opponents were the Kings of Europe, the team always coming up with new strategies, the favorites to win it all, G2 Esports.
This is what peak League of Legends looks like, and it comes from Europe. A world record, G2 Esports, 3-0.
If 2019 League of Legends was an anime, G2 were the protagonists. Their skill and flexibility took the world by storm.
Here's the thing, they can play whatever the fuck they want, it's unbelievable, so...
It's okay.
Heading into finals, G2 were undefeated in best of matches all year. They won both LEC splits and the mid-season invitational. If they won Worlds, they'd be the first team in history to win the Grand Slam. But in the finals, FPX gave thousands of G2 fans a reality check.
Now under pressure, and that is very heartening to see.
All right, there's the engage, the kickback. Mickey finds some damage on Doinb, but he's instantly thrown to the wolves. The charge from Gimgu brings some damage backwards, but goes gold, and LWX stays alive. Wind will buy some time, but simply not enough. Perks goes forward. The final breath does nothing, and it's Crisp that gets another. 2 quick kills to FPX. Here come FPX over the wall. Hero's entrance into the river, and G2, they cannot find anything yet. They're chasing on Crisp. They've got themselves finally one more kill, but the teleport comes up from Gimgu. He doesn't have the charge available. All of a sudden, Mickey's down. Oh, 2, 3. LWX can find the triple. Tian gets another. G2 are aced at 22 minutes.
FPX trying to collapse here now. G2, will they get him?
All right, now look at the minimap at one cost. Doinb gets the kill onto Caps, and the teleports now come in. This could be it for G2. LWX goes forward. He won't find the kill into Yankos, but there is a potential reply. Time doesn't do anything. Perks stays alive. It's a fight on multiple fronts. Now Perks is in trouble. He's got no flash. He's got low mana, and he can't find anything. Tian takes him down. FunPlus Phoenix, accelerating ahead. Nearly 5,000 gold.
Observers once again show the true genius of the FPX plan.
Sentenced to death. Wonder, Crisp, Flash, Q's, and FPX. They want to lift the cup. FunPlus Phoenix are looking to silence the haters and stun the world with their own style of League of Legends. They are pushing onto the Nexus. The favorites of G2 in Paris did not stand a chance. And FunPlus, they've taken down the Nexus. They turn their attention to Wonder. Tian goes down. Perks kills Gimgu. The Nexus is being focused. It's going down. And FunPlus Phoenix are your world champions.
FPX decimated G2, defeating the favorites 3-0. They silenced the European crowd and lifted the Summoners Cup as the best team in the world.
FunPlus Phoenix are the 2019 League of Legends World Champions!
FPX aren't your typical champions. They aren't flashy, and their super carry mid laner prefers tanks and supports.
就终于证明了自己吧，我这种中单都能拿冠军，因为之前很多人说我这种风格的中单不配拿冠军，但今年终于拿了冠军，我就证明了自己，我这种打法也可以拿冠军。谢谢，感谢我的队友。
But thanks to them, we might be entering a new era of League of Legends. An era where we can finally throw out the idea that there's one right way to play. An era where finding the perfect playstyle for your team will mean so much more than just copying another team from across the world. FPX didn't win Worlds because they had the most innovative picks or the best late game macro. They won Worlds because they ignored the haters and played the style that they wanted to. The wonky playstyle that made everyone fall in love with them. And it paid off.
我们等了40天，终于这句话终于喊出来了，我们是冠军！
Somebody fucking hammering something back there?
He is hammering something.
Can he not? Can he just stop? Okay, he stopped.